and I don't want him to have resentment towards me for like how fast everything moved.
I love that multiple people are saying things. Gypsy, tell your people get the fuck away from me. Quit watching my shit, Gypsy, and letting your people just talk shit to me. They don't know that you called me like 8 times last week, so. But I didn't answer. So.
Hey guys, Becca Scoops here. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having a great day. I've got a little video here for you guys, so sit back, get out the popcorn, because there's new things going on with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And this video is about patterns of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, okay? Now, some of you may know, and some of you may not know, that today was a big, big day for Gypsy Rose in the gossip, in the celebrity type news. She went out of her way to contact People magazine, and not one article, but 2 articles with big, big manipulations going on. I mean, baby and a ring, both 2 articles, one on the baby, one on how she needs Ken to propose to her. And while these are just gossipy topics, I get it. It also goes to show her patterns. And that's what I'm interested in revealing in this video. Okay, so let's get right to it. It's September 30th. Both these articles came out. The first one, well, I don't know in what order they came out, but they both came out today. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring up the first one. Here it is. Gypsy Rose Blanchard shares new details about baby number 2. She wants to give Aurora a little brother. A little brother? Oh, okay. I guess are we getting testing done to make sure it's a boy? I really hope not, but this is what this article is about. It's about that she has to get IVF because of what? What is the reason she has to get IVF? Well, because of her microdeletion, her chromosome disorder, which she completely downplays, right? Not a big deal. I'm unscathed, but yeah, I can pass it on to my daughter. It just goes on. You can pause to read. Part of it says, we are thankful Aurora tested negative, but can't take the risk for another child naturally. So IVF is our best option. And with it, we can choose the gender. Okay, I have thoughts about that. Some of you may be okay with that. Some of you may not be okay with that. I just think, I don't know, it's just when we start to choose things like, I get doing IVF to make sure there's not this disorder. They don't want to pass it on. I get that. But when we start getting into like gender and eye color, stuff like that, hair color, I don't like that. I think that's problematic for a lot of different reasons that I won't go into right here. But I just think it's like a designer baby, Oh, I don't want my baby to have, brown hair. I want her to have blonde hair. I want her to have green eyes, I want it to be a boy. I don't want a girl. I got an issue with that. If you guys don't, hey, that's great. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think about that. I would love to hear what you guys think about that. All right. So what's the purpose of this article? Why do we have to leak this to people? You may be saying she's going to get paid by people. Actually, I looked that up. No, they don't get paid. So this is just for publicity's sake. This is just because she wants us to know this, that her and Ken are solid and they're going to have another baby. But the article that really gave me pause, besides this one, I mean, both of them did, right? Was this, I want Ken to put a ring on it. Yeah. So let's get to that one. You guys can pause to read this one if you want. She does say in this article, we did go as far as to have the pre-testing done and then put it on pause for a few months. Well, I guess so. Your baby is not even a year old yet. I mean, what are we doing? Why are we? Okay. I guess if people want to have babies back to back, I mean, it's difficult. It's hard. Pre-testing is pretty simple. They run blood work and analysis and let you know what your fertility looks like. So we got the information about it. So when we are ready, we can proceed. What about getting married first? I mean, wouldn't you think getting married first would be the next step? Oh, yeah. Well, she didn't forget about that. So she put another article on People, another exclusive to People magazine. And here we go. Gypsy Rose Blanchard reveals her future plans to marry boyfriend Ken Urker. Well, just get engaged already. Just get the ring already. You know what I mean? It's just, why are we having to do this? It's patterns. It's patterns. Gypsy uses the press, has used the media, specifically People or TMZ in the past, I'm going to show you, to get things she wants. She's done it in the past, and she thinks it's going to work with Ken. Now, I don't know if she knows, but most men, I would think, I don't know, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but most men do not like to be pushed into marriage. They don't like a naggy woman pushing them into marriage. And I can say, as a woman, it's kind of like goes against my dignity to try to push a guy to marry me. Right? I mean, either you want to marry me or you don't. But pushing someone to marry you is just, I don't know. It's just gross, right? Gross. But she has no problem. What does she say? When he proposes, the answer will, of course, be yes. Well, that's a shocking revelation. Shocking. Right? I mean, all of us have known this for, okay, what else? They do a little background in the story about their, in October 2018, Urker proposed to Blanchard for the first time, though they called off their engagement before reuniting in August 2019. Despite the reconciliation, the two split again. So they were like on again, off again while she was in prison. It was like a whole deal that's in the prison emails. And then during the time, even when she's with Ken, she's with other people. I mean, it's super confusing. It's wow. Here's what else the article says. Gypsy says, quote, I have been in love with Ken since the day we first met. We have been through more than most couples have and have had challenges that would break many couples, but we still stand strong. And I don't see that changing. Well, if you keep pushing him to marry you, if you keep putting out articles, and I'm wondering, does she tell Ken she's going to do this? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know what man would be. Yeah, put that in the, what guy would say, yeah, I think it's a great idea if you go to People magazine and say, hey, talk about our future plans to be married, and say that when I asked you the question, you're going to say yes. No, that's not happening. Blanchard notes that she and Urker moved in together in late June last year. She announced her separation from Anderson, that's Ryan Anderson, as you saw in the beginning of this video. Let me pause here. So, yeah, the beginning of the video, and we'll get to more of that video with Ryan. Ryan calls out Gypsy for being in the chat, Gypsy or Gypsy's people, and says she called me 8 times. She's been calling me all the time, and I didn't answer. I'm not answering. She just tried to call me 8 times. I tend to believe that. That is her pattern. We know her pattern. When she left him before, she was texting him positive pregnancy tests. When she had the baby, she was constantly texting him. She was the one that was trying to meet up with him. That's in the Life After Lockup series. So we know, but remember, then she tried to make it seem like it was just Ryan that was doing this, that Ryan was bombarding her. And she was like, no, I can't get him to stop texting me. When the truth was, right, he showed the receipts that no, she's the one, right? And then even in the Life After Lockup, he showed her texting him glamour shots, texting her pictures of her with the baby in bed. So Ken, I don't know if you know that, but she's constantly contacting him. I guess that you're cool with that. I don't know, but that's what's going on. And it's her pattern. We saw it in the prison emails. She does it. She's not just with one person. She may be with one person like more than others, but she's always got something going on the side, just in case, right? Just in case. So, all right. So what else in this article? While Blanchard wants to tie the knot again, this time with Urker, she points out that she doesn't think being married would change much about their dynamic. And this next paragraph I love. Quote, there's a clip from our Lifetime show when my dad says marriages are a piece of paper. And for a long time, I thought he meant that the idea of marriage doesn't have value. But now I understand what he meant by that. A document is just a piece of paper, but the love that two people have for one another is the marriage. Well, I tend to say, you know what? Rod's not the best example of marriage. He, again, in the prison emails, the affairs he was having, him chronicling the affairs he was having to his own daughter was really gross. And so, no, I'm not taking marriage advice from Rod Blanchard, but if that's who she wants to look up to in this, yeah, I don't know what he thinks marriage is, but being faithful isn't part of it. And I think that his daughter is pretty much the same way. She goes on to say, so to both me and Ken, even though it's not on paper, we still consider ourselves united in our love for each other. Yeah, lip service. What the hell does that mean? It means nothing. It means nothing. Actually, a marriage in the document does mean something. It's a legally binding contract. And so much so, you saw, Gypsy, you had to go to court to get divorced. It does mean something. The paper is a contract. And the contract is your word. You sign your marriage documents, right? You're putting your signature to it. To say, I vow, I am taking vows, and my vows are for life. So that piece of paper is a legally binding contract that does mean something. Okay? All right, guys, let's get on to the next thing. Oh, wait, there's one more thing with this ring thing. There's other things. It was kind of a little bit longer article than the baby article. She continues, of course, having his last name would be nice, but it wouldn't change anything in our daily life. We still love each other just as much. We value the important pillars on which a committed relationship stands on honesty, love, respect, and trust. Again, lip service coming from her. It's just lip service. We have a child together, so it's like we have a family. We have that love. We have stood through thick and thin of this last year and a half of going through so much. What do you mean? Like breaking up your marriage? Getting pregnant when actually people didn't know who the baby daddy was? I mean, are these responsible actions of an adult that's ready for another committed relationship? I say no. I say no, but Ken, hey, if you think you want to put a ring on it, you think let's rush into this too and rush into baby number 2. I mean, where's the fire with her all the time? All the time she's needing change. All the time she's needing excitement. All the time she's needing this Disney fairy tale thing. There's got to be babies, with gender reveal. There's got to be weddings. It's fairy tale. When real life is not constant excitement. Real marriage is not constant things happening. Okay? That's not how it works. All right. But That's what she wants. Remember, I get it. And we're going to get to her issue with the D wasn't fire as part of this pattern and how she is so jaded in how she views relationships that unless she changes on that, it's none of these relationships are going to last. All right. She says, they go on about how, but he hasn't told me, she's talking about Ken, but he hasn't told me if he got a ring or if he didn't get a ring. Well, in the last Lifetime series that's not been renewed, the last part of it was they showed Ken going into a jewelry store. That was made up by Lifetime. Because if Lifetime was going to do the next season, it was going to be based on a wedding, right? This last one was based on a baby. This is how reality TV series works. This wasn't so much Ken, I want to tell you, this wasn't so much Ken having the idea to do that. No, it wasn't like, oh, from him, it was coming from his head. No, it was, they wanted him to do that. I'm pretty sure, allegedly. I mean, I wasn't there, but I'm just, deducing based on what we know about reality TV series that was their cliffhanger. They were like, hey, dude, can you do a jewelry store scene for us, just to set up next season? And he's like wanting to be on the show. They're trying to do the series. And so he agrees to do it. Right. So I don't know if she knows that. I think that she does. I mean, she's not a complete idiot. So, like he's been so big about it. And so part of me is hoping that maybe we'll get engaged when we're on vacation. Okay. Oh, this is what she said in the episode. Oh, it says on the season 2 finale, Urker went engagement ring shopping, just what I had just outlined to you guys right now. And then she said back then, but he hasn't told me if he got a ring or didn't get a ring. So then she was hoping when they go on vacation, and they did go on vacation. And guess what? There was no ring. That wasn't happening. Okay. And I hope Ken's mother, Ken's father, all the people in his life, don't tell him it's time to rush into this. I mean, I'm just saying, just my opinion. What do I know? Right. Then the last line is, he's already talked to my dad and gotten my dad's blessing. Yeah, I'm sure half the men that you were speaking with in Chillicothe got Rod's blessing to marry you. I'm sure that happened. All right. Here's what Ken looked like when they first got engaged. Here's him. He was all over the Facebook groups. He was like obsessed. And they're still both. What he and Gypsy do have in common is their obsession with social media and any critique. They can't take any criticism. They can't take any critique. In fact, maybe me making this video and other people making videos about, he hasn't put a ring on it might push him to put a ring on it. That's how obsessed he is also with people on social media and trying to prove people on social media wrong. So this may just push him over the edge, I'm just saying. I've never seen this one picture. It's like Blanchard Street. And this is what, I guess, a picture he took. Happy 26th birthday, Gypsy Rose. That was when she was in prison. Okay. That's not coming to that part yet. That's another part I'm going to get to. Sorry. All right, guys. I'm going to bring up now this pattern of what she does. All right. So hold on. Let me get that. Okay, let me set this up, this clip, all right? This is the pattern and how she uses social media, how Christy is also a part of it, condones it. So what's happening here in this clip is it's the day of the divorce, December 9th, the day of her and Ryan's divorce, okay? And Christy's has a message for Ryan. And then you're going to see what happens next. And it's like, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.
You don't need to talk about her on TikTok.
She's talking to Ryan. You don't need to talk to her about TikTok. This is the evening of the divorce. So they've gone to divorce court. Now they're back. It's December 9th. She's putting up Christmas decorations. And she tells Ryan, you don't need to talk about her on TikTok. And watch what happens after this. This is classic Gypsy Rose Blanchard manipulation patterns using the media.
What?
Now look at her face. Oh, so Christy's just lectured Ryan. You don't have to talk to her on TikTok. Christy also went on to say, you're not blocked on my phone if you want to, talk to Gypsy. What she's saying is do it privately. Don't do it publicly, Ryan. Don't speak out about Gypsy publicly. And let's see what happens right as Christy says that, giving Ryan a lecture about not taking stuff to the media. Look at Gypsy's face here.
What?
Oh, what happened? What's happened here? Oh my God, something's happened.
It said Gypsy Rose Blanchard says she didn't enjoy sex with Ryan Anderson despite once saying that he is fire.
So Gypsy Rose, the day of the divorce, went to People magazine again to have this really terrible article, humiliating article put out about Ryan Anderson. And let's see how she, tries to, say, oh no, it wasn't her. It's not me.
You didn't though, Gypsy.
Yeah, but I didn't expect her to put that in the article.
What? You're talking to a reporter and you don't expect her to put things you tell her, something that explosive, in an article? Please stop lying, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Please stop it. We see your pattern. We know what you use the media for. We see it.
So
This is
come
what
on.
happened. So I was interviewing for the book. In the book, there is a lot of talk about
So she comes up with this excuse about in the book, there's blah, 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 talk. Okay, let's take a look at this article though. Well, let me just back it up again about Christy, because
What? What?
in here before, Christy's like lecturing him.
You don't need to talk about her on TikTok.
You don't need to talk about her on TikTok. And then just say, oh. I mean, come on, people. Come on. You can't make this stuff up either. This is deplorable behavior, using the media, to kick the guy when he's down. I'm not a fan of Ryan. I'm not a fan of Ken. All right. But come on. So what was this article she put out? How humiliating was this article she put out? Let me show you. Okay, here's that article. This is December 9th, 2024, the day of her divorce. So it's timed perfectly, right? It's timed perfectly. And what was Gypsy mad about at the divorce? Well, in the episode, she's trying to get Ryan to come to the divorce proceedings. And he's like, no, I'm not coming. She got Ken's permission to see Ryan after that. They were going to go out and have coffee after they were divorced in court. They were going to go out and have a little rendezvous, right? And she was looking forward to it because that's how Gypsy is, right? Remember, where have we seen the rendezvous of going out before something happens or after something happens? With Nick. Remember what she did with Nick? Let me refresh your memory. She asked Nick permission if after they murdered Dee Dee and before they got on the bus to go to Wisconsin, if Gypsy could meet with her former boyfriend for sex. They were going to meet like at a cupcake coffee place. This is Gypsy's patterns. This is how she does things. Okay? She's easy to figure out. All right? So what was she mad about here? Well, Ryan didn't meet her. Neither did that guy. And it was allegedly Dan Glidewell, her first obsession, who was supposed to meet her after the murder of Dee Dee. And she asked Nick permission, just like she asked Ken permission to meet with Ryan. This is how she conducts her relationships. She likes the triangle. She likes the triangle, the romantic triangle. She likes the drama of it. She likes pitting the men against each other. She likes feeling like she's the wanted woman. Like two men want her at the same time. Do you know what I'm saying, you guys? All right. So Ryan was like, no, I'm not meeting you. He just didn't show up. And so what does Gypsy do? Calls People magazine. Hello, people. I've got a story for you guys, right? I got a story for you. Okay, so what was the story? Gypsy Rose Blanchard says she didn't enjoy sex with ex Ryan Anderson. All right. This is just a hit piece by Gypsy, and people's happy to do it because it's high gossip. People love this stuff. And in the middle there, I'm not going to read the whole thing because I'm not into like humiliating people. But now Blanchard shares what she says was really happening in her marriage. And this was, she's saying the D wasn't really fire. That's the purpose of this article. Now, Blanchard shares what she says was really happening in her marriage to Ryan. Quote, Ryan and my sex life was not ideal. I told him privately. Maybe that should have stayed private. How about just be a decent human being? Oh, sorry. She goes on. Maybe it was a lack of attraction in that area, or I wasn't processing properly. No, I know what it is. I know. I've studied you for almost 2 years now. I know what it is. Okay. Everything to you is sexual attraction in a relationship. It's number one. Number one. Okay. So that when you got out of prison and it wasn't there, and I think you kind of knew it wasn't there. I think there was a multiple reasons why she ended up getting married to Ryan that I'm not going to get into right now. But I think she already knew that she wasn't probably physically attracted to him, but went ahead with the marriage anyways. Okay. Let me get to the next thing. You guys are going to love this. Okay, there was this point in the series where Lifetime got them to go to this couple's therapist. And I don't think they ever followed up with this. It was just for the series. Okay. But there was some things that went on in that clip that are pretty eye-opening to give you an idea of just how these two people probably shouldn't be together. Now, and they've got issues, right? And so now they have a baby, and that puts a lot of stress on a relationship. And then just having another baby and getting married. I mean, these are major stressors in life. So I wanted to show you part of this clip and kind of critique it.
Come home, buddy.
Look at this tub.
Wrong one. Here we go.
Us meeting and working together.
So the therapist here is asking, what is the purpose of us here being here? What do you want from me? What's your deal? What do you need? How can I help you?
Potentially is to what?
Navigating how to properly communicate with each other's stress. Because I just don't want to corrupt your positivity.
Corrupt your positivity? I mean, the word salad she uses that like there's no meaning behind a lot of these words. You know, it's just.
I'm having a bad day and don't see things in the most positive way.
What? I don't get, if I'm having a bad day, you know, I tell Mitch my day sucks. And then I tell him why. You know what I mean? I'm not worried I'm gonna like freak him out and ruin his positivity. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
I don't like that. I'd rather you just be honest with me and just tell me what's
always.
going on.
I'd rather you just be honest with me. So it sounds like honesty is an issue in this relationship, which we already knew that, but it's interesting that Ken would say it, right? Yeah, she's going to break down crying here in a minute.
Honest, but if I bring up a topic that maybe he's not interested in talking about at the time, he shuts down.
Can you give me an
Here we go. Can you give me an
example
example?
of a hot button topic that might
Here we go. Listen.
cause him to shut down?
Just, stressors. Social media has been a big stressor for us.
I'm telling you, they're both obsessed with social media. You know what you could do, you guys? Just get off social media. Stressor eliminated. Stressor gone. Stop calling People Magazine to, give them, celebrity gossip. Gossip about, you're not a celebrity, but, mommy murderer gossip, okay?
And he has a harder time with it.
Okay.
I've been in it longer.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I totally disagree with what you just said.
At least he's being a little honest here. He's just saying, I don't agree with what you're saying. Why? Because he doesn't want, and I don't know if this is honest or not, because probably not, because he does He is obsessed with social media almost as much as she is.
I think that I have a harder time with it. I think that you have a harder time with it. Your nose is always in your phone scrolling through comments. I don't even do that anymore. But at the same time, it's also a very new concept.
And we know after this, he got on a live and challenged Ryan to a boxing match. Obviously, both of these individuals cannot get off social media. They're addicted to it at this point. It's an addiction. It's addiction level at this point because it's bad for both of them. They're admitting here it's horrible for their relationship, but they can't quite seem to just get off of it, to just stop. Go to a 12-step group, get some help, all right?
For me, like 6 months ago, this was not my life at all. So I'm very new to this. And learning how to navigate this has been a process of my own that I'm trying to figure out.
Okay, none of that means anything. Now I want to fast forward a little bit where Gypsy breaks down.
Set that I'm like on my phone, I guess, looking at stuff.
Oh yeah, when you're distracted, and I want us to have more real life time together.
Real life time, get off social media, shut down your accounts. Okay? I don't know, is it rocket science? She shuts him down, she comes back. He's constantly scrolling, it sounds like. They're both just obsessed.
And then my response was like, every answer that I gave you would rebuttal it. Like, I'd be like, okay, well then I'll stop doing it. Well, you said that before. Okay, well then I'll try and be more adamant about it this time. Well,
All right, so then let me fast forward here. He's just lecturing her.
click. And then silent for like an hour or two.
Then she gives him the silent treatment. All right, let's move on. All right, here we go.
The belief that I had was that he left.
She's talking about what she believed about why they broke up in prison, like twice.
Because the pressure of being with me as a public figure.
That was the truth. That was the truth. Now she's going to share the bullshit line that she wants everyone to believe. No one believes this excuse.
Was too much.
Okay.
So I am trying to protect him in a way that it doesn't become overwhelming and make him want to leave.
That's always in the back of your mind.
Well, before that, I'm not going to scroll back. She says, the real reason he left me was because he just wanted me to grow. He just wanted me to become a better person. No one believes that. All right, here we go.
And sort of like informing every decision you make. If I hold on, if I cling too much, maybe he'll leave. Or if I bring all my strength.
And look what she's doing here today. Look what she's doing here. This is my point of showing this. Okay, here they are in therapy. It's fake, but that's a real therapist, I'm sure. It's kind of like a real therapy appointment. But the point is here, she's saying, I'm worried if I push too much that he's going to leave. Well, what the hell is the People magazine? I want a baby. Hello, people. I need a baby and I need a ring. Can you put those articles in? I mean, you know that's what she did.
Dressed exactly. Maybe he'll leave. Okay.
There are times that I feel really guilty.
Okay.
Just because, I know there's been a lot of change for him.
I gotta stop it here because of the copyright. But here she's tearing up. I just know there's been a lot of change for him. Yeah.
And I feel like I haven't been sensitive to that.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, I feel like
She's gonna grab the tissue now because this is gonna be one of those. Right. We've seen it.
I don't want to put him in any sort of a negative headspace.
What's that mean? Well, maybe don't call People magazine. Maybe stop putting the pressure on to have another baby and and put a ring on it. Just let things happen naturally in life. Stop trying to control everyone and everything. I mean, not only does she try to control Ken, she tries to control everyone on social media who talks about her, that critiques her. I mean, it's really mind numbing the way she needs so much control over people.
And I don't want him to have resentment towards me.
Well, yeah, don't call People Magazine. I mean, you guys, I can't make this stuff up either, right? I mean, her pattern and the other pattern she has that I've seen over the last 18 months is she can't help herself. She can't help herself. She has to do these things over and over again, pushing someone to marry her, pushing people into the relationship with her, having to have that baby, going to the fertility specialist. All of these things are patterns. And she had, and here's my point, what we're seeing here, why witnessing this is vital is because we couldn't witness how she was with Nick, but she hasn't changed. So the way she's conducting herself here, the way she's making these things happen, the way she's manipulating events. She couldn't call People Magazine when she was with Nick to say, I'm really hoping Nick kills my mom next time he comes to visit, right? But you see my point here. This is how she conducts her relationships with men. And so this is what's going on here. It went on with Nick. It's proof that she was the instigator 100%, that no, Nick was not trying or wanted to, his dark side, wanted to, murder Dee Dee. No, it was all her 100%.
For like how fast everything moved.
And how fast everything moved once she decided with Nick that her mom had to go. She developed the relationship over 2 years, but it was in those last couple of months that she just hammered him over and over and over again in text messages, in Facebook messages. It was just relentless. She had him with his disability just spinning, that she would withhold the love, like kind of what Ken talked about. She would withhold it. And then she would, say she's suicidal. And then he would say he's suicidal. It was this whole game that went on. And he didn't know, Nick didn't know. He was playing the game. Now, what Ken knows or doesn't know, I'm not sure how sophisticated he is. But Ken, you might want to take a look at her patterns with men, going back to Nick Go to John, and her first obsession, which was Dan Glidewell.
Like I told him, I don't want him to stay because of the baby. I want him to want this.
Even though you manipulated the events to make sure that he stayed because of the baby. Right? She made this happen so that he couldn't leave. So he had to move with her.
Relationship to work.
Mm-hmm.
And what did she try to do with Nick? The first plan was get pregnant, right? I mean, it's the same thing over and over and over again. It's just the same pattern over and over again. All right, guys. I've got a few other clips, and then I want to go over way in the past, just a few things about Dee Dee and how people that knew her perceived all these events. Let me get to the few other clips, and then we're going to get to that stuff. Well, one funny moment that happened on the series that was just really funny and just kind of showed also Ken's level of interest in all of this happened when they went on that weird baby moon. The hell is a baby moon? I don't know. I didn't have baby moons when I was having my baby. What the hell is that? But anyways, let's watch. And those of you that are really into the case know what scene this is, but I just want to refresh the memory of, since she's pushing so hard for a ring and another baby, here's what happened on their baby moon.
Little tall. Can you come help me?
So she wants him to come up and push her up on the bed, sweep her into his arms like a fairy tale, plant her on the bed, and then, oh, maybe we could get busy. It was kind of like she's looking for a romantic moment here, because everything's a fairy tale to her, everything. So here, let's see what happens.
Just 2 more months.
I know.
We gotta go walk around this lake before it gets too dark.
He just walks away. I mean, this part right here,
Before it gets too
she's just laughed, right? I mean, she's just like, right? You know, she's just left, and it's just like, and he's like, let's go take a walk. You know, he gave her a little, you know, obligatory kisses, and then was on her stomach, and then was like, let's go walk. Let's take a walk. And she's just laying there like, what? Isn't this where we're supposed to do it? Aren't we supposed to do it here? Isn't this our baby moon? You know what I mean? It's just comical. And I just thought I'd, you know, just for a little comic relief, I would share that with you guys. Many of you have seen it many times, but it never gets old. It never gets old. Okay. I want to get to some other things about, just kind of switch gears here a little bit. I've been doing research into the case about people that knew them back in the day. And I wanted to share with you a few observations that a few of Dee Dee's, the community members, some of these people were from Springfield, and some of these people actually knew Dee Dee like from high school. All right, let me bring that up. Okay, this first post is really interesting. This is someone that knew them in Springfield, and to her, everything looked good. Everything looked fine. This woman writes, I feel so badly that I didn't notice something wrong when they would come in where I work or when I ran into them at Walmart or a concert. They just appeared happy, and almost every time I saw them, they were going to a special show or event. Did you guys hear that? Almost every time I saw them, they were going to a special show or event. They were always very sweet and kind to me. Gypsy had a very high-pitched, childlike voice. I am not sure this was her real voice tone now. They mailed me pictures on a CD from a concert since I had a seat far back after I ran into them buying t-shirts and saying hello. Hold on, guys. Usually I take my phone out. Sorry. Okay, so what's going on here is this woman is talking about that they emailed her something that they had really good seats at this concert, but she was far in the back. Okay, I had a seat far back after I ran into them buying t-shirts after and said hello. So they were both at the concert. Gypsy and Dee Dee had like probably the best seats possible, and this woman was seated far in the back. Since it was my favorite artist, they wanted me to have good pictures of the show. See, when they came to eat where I worked once, Dee Dee brought me something to soak my feet in since I had been having trouble with feet. They did kind things like that too. But with my social work background, I feel I should have noticed if the daughter was unhappy or not ill, what she was, as she appeared to be at first glance. I wonder what happened in their lives that led to this deception. It's so sad. Praying. And this next person, this is about the Hobby Lobby. And look, I admit, with Dee Dee's bad check writing past, I always just thought that the Hobby Lobby, the shoplifting and how they got banned from there, that Dee Dee was the instigator of it, that this was Dee Dee's way of life. But now after reading this, I'm not so sure. Here it goes. I never actually met them, but back in 2006 or 2007, before we really relocated to Tennessee, I was in a Hobby Lobby on north side of Springfield, and they were caught shoplifting. This woman was there when this happened. Dee Dee was asked not to come back into the store, as they said she had been caught before. I remember Gypsy was a so-called local celebrity misplaced from the hurricane and had been on the news. I definitely recognized Gypsy as, not to be mean, but she was a homely child. The way Dee Dee dressed her and those huge glasses. I recalled Dee Dee blaming Gypsy for hiding something under her wheelchair. I want to say it was scrapbook paper, question mark. So I don't know, was it Gypsy that was doing all this, this shoplifting? Was it Dee Dee and Gypsy, or was it just Gypsy? I don't know. It's just interesting. It's interesting to know. Okay. I know the family well. I grew up a street away and vacationed with Dee Dee. So she vacationed with Dee Dee. She knew her like all her life. Still close to the siblings, but just met Gypsy once as a child. But Dee Dee had switched, and then she's putting in quote, personalities by then. This is the best I can describe it. Don't come at me. I still can't wrap around my head around a lot. This was before anyone knew about the microdeletion, all of these comments, by the way. And this was about the time that the Hulu series, The Act, came out. The next person, right? I lived in Springfield, met them and saw them numerous times out and about. Dee Dee invited us to outside movie night at their house. So that's a true event, but something struck me as strange. And I didn't feel comfortable taking the grandkids there. Gut feeling. Next post. Never met her, but she spent all her years in prison with my daughter. Believe me, she should still be there. Lots of exclamation points. Next one. We met them in January 2015 at Disney World. My mom, she will talk to anyone, started talking to them at the All-Star Sports Hotel bus stop. By the time we got to the Hollywood studios, we heard their life story, including Gypsy's illnesses and the pink house. Was shocked to see them in the headlines later that year. Okay. So I thought a few of those were very interesting. These are called not just sources, but first sources. Okay. They're not secondary sources. These are people, except for the woman who was just talking about her daughter was in prison with Gypsy. These people all had interactions with them. And I think that first one is so poignant about how this woman like saw them a lot. She saw them out and about all the time in Springfield, and how they were always out doing something, going to concert, going to special events. This is how she recalls them, and that they always look so excited and so happy, and how Dee Dee went out of her way to bring this woman something for her feet to soak in, how Dee Dee went out of her way to make sure that this woman had the close-up pictures of her favorite artist. It might have been the Miranda Lambert concert, I'm probably thinking, that Gypsy had the backstage passes and got to meet her and got the donation from Miranda Lambert. And so, all of these events, this goes to Gypsy's pattern of behavior then as an adult, because she wants this exciting lifestyle. She, if anything becomes bored or mundane, she hops on social media to create drama. Right? She can't just live life. Not all of life is super exciting. In fact, most of it isn't. And all you can really pray for, you guys, is to have peace, to be free from anxiety in your life. And sometimes, yeah, it's nice to have excitement. Sometimes it's nice to plan an outing. It's nice to plan a vacation. All of those things are wonderful. But if you think that's what life is only made of, then you're going to be constantly unhappy. You're going to be constantly anxious. And sadly, Dee Dee overindulged Gypsy. It wasn't neglect. It was the opposite of neglect. She overindulged her, right? She was giving her all of these wonderful experiences on a constant basis. And so Gypsy becomes this adult then that feels entitled. And now she wants to pick the gender of her baby. Because, well, why not? Right? Why not? All right, let me see if there's anything else I need to go over before I let you guys go. Hold on. I want to bring up the Taylor Swift thing too, because I'm talking about the patterns. I almost forgot that. Remember the patterns of how she uses the media to get her way, to manipulate people, to do all that. So let's take a look at that. This is the last part of going over this pattern of how Gypsy Rose manipulates. Okay, so many of you know, or many of you might not know that when Gypsy was about 10 months before she was going to get out of prison, she started hardcore wanting to see Taylor Swift in concert. This became an obsession for her. And so she went ahead and she utilized TMZ to make sure this happened. She started adding articles in TMZ. And so Gypsy gives TMZ quotes, want to meet Taylor at the game. TMZ reported in the article, it was unnamed source, but the source now we know is Gypsy, trying to manipulate events to get herself to the Taylor Swift concert. She was trying to get Taylor Swift's attention. Like, hey, over here, I'm Gypsy Rose. Don't you want to meet me? I'm going to be at your concert. Make sure you come, make sure you find me so we can meet. Kind of like how it happened with Kim Kardashian. The only difference is with Kim Kardashian, Kim was also, working for, A&E or Lifetime, whatever the network is, right? Under contract. And so they were like, look, we want you to, have this little scene with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And Kim Kardashian couldn't say no because she's contracted, right, with the network. But Taylor Swift isn't contracted with a network. So Gypsy Rose trying to plan this, this was before she got out and she was hell-bent. And then we remember what else happened, right? We remember the scene where Gypsy just totally flips, right?
Have to be different than anyone else's, because
this is her when she, finds out that the parole officer isn't going for her manipulation, using the press, it's just the same pattern.
to me, I'm just another average bear.
Yeah, no, you don't think you're an average bear at all. You call People Magazine, you call TMZ when you want people to do stuff in your life. Right now, it's like you want another baby and you want Ken to propose to you. So yeah, you're using People Magazine at this point.
And I guess I'm getting a huge culture shock.
No, you're not getting a huge culture shock. You're just saying what you need to say, but you're the same person. It's all about the manipulation.
Okay, so the issue is you just want her out of the state of Missouri.
Yes, Missouri said get the fuck out. That's the point, okay? Sorry that you made plans and we're trying to manipulate Taylor Swift into meeting you, but that's not going to happen.
Hey, he's calling down right now.
This is easy. Let's just give him.
I just need a minute.
Oh, correction. I think this was they were going, not a concert. They were going to a football game. That was it. Sorry, guys. I got that mixed up. So she knew that Taylor was, dating that Kelsey guy that plays for the Chiefs. And so Gypsy made sure she got tickets to that game, knowing that Taylor Swift would be there. And then she started dropping articles over on TMZ to get Taylor's attention to make sure that the two would meet at the game.
Okay.
I kept asking the question. I'm not understanding what the deal is.
There's Mike Stanfield, the attorney / manager / piece of crap who has enabled her from day one and is part of the reason we have Gypsy Rose Blanchard on social media acting a fool.
Right.
And the reason that she still isn't in prison, because she should still be.
But what if they're gonna send me back?
No, you're not crying because this is a lie. You're not crying because they're going to send you back. You're crying because now you can't meet Taylor, something you had been obsessing on for almost a year before the event, per the prison emails.
They were not gonna send you back.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want.
So sorry. And she does this a lot. She's really good at making people think she's apologizing and she's sorry, and she's taking them to think, oh, I'm so scared they're going to send me back. When the real emotion behind all of this isn't that she's scared. She knows they're not going to send her back. Over what? Just because you have to leave. All she had to do was leave the state and she'd be cool. No one was threatening to send her back. She is so, what is the real emotion here? The real emotion is I'm not getting my way. I'm not getting my way. Like a little toddler having a tantrum, not getting their way. Her little toy, Taylor, is being withheld from her. And they're saying no. Someone's saying no to Gypsy. No, Gypsy, they're saying.
Sorry.
And I think this is the thing Ken buys. I think this is the thing Ryan buys when she has these moments where she appears, crying and oh, poor me and all of that. They don't understand all of it is just a manipulation. It's just one big manipulation. right? It's just one big manipulation.
I fulfilled my end of what my obligations are. I do not feel free right now.
I mean, I feel sorry for you. I mean, entitled. You're so lucky you're even out of prison. Your co-defendant will never be where you're at, ever. And look at her entitlement because they said, no, you can't go to the game and meet Taylor Swift. Yeah, I just can't with her. I just, yeah. It's just, you guys, I just can't. All right. I'm going to go live tomorrow. I wasn't going to go today, but something came up in my schedule, so I had to kind of rearrange things. So I thought I'd make this little video, and then tomorrow we're going to have our big live, okay, where there's other things I want to discuss that you guys aren't going to want to miss. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate everyone that is subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for people that are wanting to pitch in and become members. You don't have to become a member. Subscribing is more than enough to humble me, you know, and thank you so much for everyone that has supported our channel for so long. We know who you are, and I want to say thank you so much. All right, guys, that's going to do it for Becca Scoops. So I'll see you tomorrow on the live. Don't miss it. Look for the notifications. You'll see what time it's going to be at. And until then, Becca Scoops out.